Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Harmony One and see essentially what is going on. I got a lot of requests for this one too. Is it back on track? Can we get back in here? And what's this looking like? Of course, we'll go ahead and cover that and more. Thank you again. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade and help you become a little bit more self-sufficient. So that's my goal, my passion. I do this every day for a living, so I can assure you that you know I eat, breathe, and sleep cryptocurrency. It's an amazing, awesome experience. And what's also amazing too is my community. I've got a trading community as well as an academy to help you become a better trader. And I send out signals to essentially all of my members to ensure that you have kind of a good idea on how to structure your trade more effectively. Okay, so check that out in your own time, cryptocache.tech. And this is actually a review for one of my members. So thanks again for requesting I cover this here. Now, Harmony One. What's going on here? We haven't covered this in a little while. And it's ultimately been on a downtrend, right? And the main reason why is because it shot up very hard, very fast, once more, upwards of about 36 cents. Now it's at about 16 right now. So if you think about that, if it gets back to its all-time high, you're going to have over a 2x return. So the likelihood of that coming up that high, I think, is pretty good overall, all things considered. Once more, just based on its fundamentals more so, and the fact that it's proven to do very well in the general sense of other currencies, and its Bitcoin pairing is also very good. So again, just something to know in the big picture there. I am personally just overall bullish on Harmony One in general. That being said, let's look at the TA, give you an unbiased approach and help you understand kind of what is going into it. So here's something to understand. First of all, we're traveling into a potential death cross. Now, I would not concern yourself with this too much. This is usually more applicable to Bitcoin, but oftentimes when the 50 intersects with the 200 in a downward fashion, if you can see this here, that does kind of push the price action down. Now, it helps when the price action is closer to those resistances. Keep that in mind. People don't really understand that sometimes. And just because it's looming doesn't mean it's going to just push the price down for no reason. It helps, like just say, for example, the 50 is coming down here in the 200. That's when you maybe want to concern yourself. Okay, so I'm not super concerned with that, but the key takeaway here is that both moving averages are higher than the price action. And what that essentially just means is that we shouldn't expect the price to shoot up, even though it's kind of already doing that, considering the fact that it's below those major resistances and they'll eventually become a problem. All right, that's kind of the general sense. And once again, on the one-day chart, in the last 50 days, the average should be somewhere in the range of 21 cents, but it's lower. So it does kind of imply that is a good value as well. Okay, so there's kind of a reverse approach there. We bounced off of 30, essentially, very close to 30 on the RSI, and we're trending closer to 50 now. So that's a great sign. Just know that 50 on the RSI can respond as a resistance, and we'll have to bridge that gap a little bit later. But we got some good stuff going into it. We've got a MACD convergence almost fully, I guess you could say converged, because it's really almost there. We can see that the bears are losing control and the bulls are gaining control. So that's ultimately a great sign in the big picture. Another thing that's good too, if we look at the 4-hour, in most cases, the RSI is going to be up over 30 and 50 and below 70. So that is ultimately a great sign, because when you have an RSI up over 50 on the 4-hour, that tells you that the bulls are in control in that middle time frame, that midterm. That being said, it's coming closer to 70, so it might be considered to be overbought here soon. And let's go ahead and see what that means. So looking at TD sequential, we hit a 9 here recently, and we got a little reset to the side. And we're possibly going to start at a 1 here soon. So this is good news in the sense that it's consolidating nicely for the last 12 hours. Right at that specific resistance there on Fibonacci, about 16 cents is a close estimate. We could say 15.9. Okay? So again, good stuff there in that sense. It's a little overextended, but it's calming down nicely. We're up over the 50-day SMA as well, which is equally as important on the 4-hour. And then, of course, we had a strong MACD convergence. So keep in mind, again, this is a lot of bullish convergence. So the more sideways action we can get right now, the better. And I think we're looking pretty darn good here for Harmony One. Especially if you consider what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's doing mostly sideways, and Harmony One is now increasing. Okay, that's a good sign, and ultimately I like that. So all in all, the 4-hour looks great on Harmony One. Let's look at the 1-hour as well and try to identify a few other things here. Now, first of all, Ichimoku Cloud tells us we want to keep our position open. Okay, so even if we were to continue to go sideways for another 12 hours and leg up, that'd be just fine. It's basically saying, hey, we have no reason to close our position because a lagging span is free and clear of any price action. Conversion lines above the baseline, we're way above the cloud. So if the price were to even still retrace a little bit, we could essentially expect some type of support right where the actual cloud is forming. Because the cloud is kind of a precursor letting you know that, hey, you get into that zone, you want to maybe consider not taking a position. Because if you look back here, the price came up, got rejected by the cloud, and came back down. That's a very common characteristic. So it works equally the same on the down, right? It comes down and it essentially bounces in a lot of cases as well. So these are all very positive things. It's a nice push here, and I do think that Harmony One, it's not too late to get in. I think you're in a pretty good shape here if you're to get in. Even if you get in now and it pulls back down to about 14/15 cents, it'd still be worthwhile. So maybe definitely consider dollar cost average on Harmony One. A swing trade position would equally be as beneficial. Put a few dollars in. Set your targets at key level Fibonacci retracement lines. And let's go ahead and cover that here as well. I get the question a lot of, where do I set my profit targets? How do I set my DCA targets? And let me go ahead and try to explain that. Because with Harmony One, the easiest way to understand it, or just, in general, most Fibonacci retracement lines are going to be very good targets to shoot for. And what I mean by that is that you want to edit that a little bit, but for the most part, that's kind of the general consensus. So as we can see, the price is kind of getting rejected out at a resistance here at about 15.9, just see round number 16 cents. So if you're to consider a profit target, right, you don't just pull a number out of a hat. You try to find a percentage that's good, of course, for your needs, obviously, depending on how much you're using and how long you're going to hold it, all factor in. But if you're going to just say a swing trade where you hold today and maybe sell in a month or two, well, you might want to consider some profit targets that are just below key level Fibonacci retracement lines. In other words, this one here, of course, the price came up to about 23.7 cents as a round number. You'd probably want to set your target at maybe 23 cents even. Okay, nice little 47% profit there. It wouldn't be a terrible consideration. Again, another thought process too would also be somewhere in the range of just say 20 cents instead of 20.9. Right? If you put it just below a key level resistance, such as a Fibonacci retracement level, then you're going to be much more likely to get filled. And I try to drive that home to my community members to help everyone understand that setting profit targets, it's important to have multiple targets, 3 targets at least, and to have those targets be realistically within your range of risk tolerance. Because again, the price doesn't always just continue to go up. It could very well come down. And you got to be okay with that. In some swing trades, you either want to have a stop loss or nothing at all. And again, that's based on your risk tolerance. But that's generally what I'd recommend here. So to me personally, like if I were to set a profit target here for Harmony One, my first profit target, if I was doing a swing trade, for example, would probably be closer to 21 cents. Give me 20 cents rather, about a 26% increase. Then my second target would be probably right here in the range of about 23, as I mentioned before, close to about 45%. Then the very last one, it would probably be somewhere in the range of, I would say, right around 36, 35 cents to ensure that it'll be lofty. It'll be a profit target that I would have already taken most of my profits out by then, but it would still give me a strong return based on it being 120 some odd percent. Again, these are just key levels that you might want to consider doing. And the inverse applies too for dollar cost average, right? So set a limit order, for example, for Harmony One at 14 cents or just a little bit above 14.1. All right, so that's kind of what you're looking at there. So hopefully you can find benefit here, of course, and this makes sense. And just be cautious and careful moving forward is all I ask. We'll go ahead and cover Harmony One again very soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one.